All right. I am currently, where am I? I'm in Mexico. So I'm a little bit behind on getting my podcast out this week. Uh, Currently, what is it? It's 4:30 on Friday afternoon. I'm in just south of Cancun, Mexico, which it really is a nice place. I got to admit. I'll spin this around, kind of give you an idea where I'm at. Look, which I'm not one to brag about where I'm at. It really doesn't matter. It's a nice place. Don't get me wrong. I don't know that I would want to live here, but it is beautiful. It is. It really is. So we came down for a week. So that's why I'm a little bit late on the podcast side of it. And having said that, it appears yesterday the verdict came down in the Carmelo Anthony uh, murder situation in Texas. Uh, and if unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know about this. Kamal, I can't even say his name. Why don't these people have? Why don't they have names like Joe and Bob? I swear to God, I don't understand this. Carmelo Anthony. Okay, what was he? 17 years old, and he stabbed a kid at a track meet in high school. Okay, killed a guy far sitting underneath a tent that he shouldn't have been in the first place. It makes it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous story. It's these these people don't know how to act. They really don't. And now we're getting this whole story that this thing was all racially motivated. That the verdict, by the way, he got 35 years. He's not going to be eligible for. Now this is after a what, a 1 week, I guess, trial. Now this is after his family collected nearly, I guess, $1 million or better on a GoFundMe to try and to defend this kid. Now, mind you, he was not provoked. There were witnesses, and I don't want to redo the entire story, but there are witnesses that say that this Carmelo entered this tent at a track event and antagonized these kids, demanded that he sit under this tent, refused to leave, said that if they tried to make him leave, that they'd be sorry. And it's high school. It's high school. We've all been through high school, especially males. Um, Typically, there's pushing and shoving, and people back down. Maybe a fist or two thrown, whatever. But instead, this kid, this black kid, decides to pull out a knife out of his. Hang on, just a second here. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure I was recording. I don't want to go through this whole thing if I wasn't recording. But nonetheless, he pulls out a knife out of his backpack and stabs this kid, this Metcalf kid, in the heart and kills him dead. Now, as the story is being told by his lawyer and his parents, and friends of the family, and the black community, they're saying he was provoked, that he felt threatened, and I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, I mean, at the very most, we would probably wrestle around on the ground, somebody get their face smacked, and that would be the end of it. So to pull out a knife and stab someone, I think it's pretty blatant. That's just me. Now, is this racially motivated? I don't really know. They're claiming that it's a reverse situation where because he's black, he couldn't get a fair trial. Well, apparently that isn't the case. I know they're appealing it because they say no, there were no black people on the jury. They're saying it was an all-white jury. That's not accurate. I want to make sure everybody's clear on that. That is not accurate. There were Asians on the jury. There were women. Uh, I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to tell you. The black community seems to think that no matter what they do, that it's appropriate. that it's justified and that there's no repercussions for anything that they do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play a little bit of the video here that pretty interesting, and it's coming from a group. Well, it's kind of a compilation of things. So let me play this right quick.
Sure that nobody said that the Next Generation Action Network instructed this process, interfered in this process. But what this process did is shown that black lives do not matter in Collin County. It showed.
You see what he's doing there immediately? He's already baiting the people watching this, saying that there's no justice for the black man in this county. Now, I don't know what he's talking about. The trial took a week. Okay, his defense, which by the way, his family had raised almost $1 million for his defense, which they did not spend on his defense. They spent it on a new house and several cars. You've heard the old saying, you know what I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about, right? The nigger rich type people. Sorry, I don't know how else to put it. I've heard that since I was a little kid. That's exactly what this is. So they spent all the money. They didn't spend it on his defense. He had a public defender. And the public defender was doing the best he could. He was saying, look, he was provoked. No, he wasn't provoked. And they've got video proving that was inaccurate and that was not true. They had witnesses that said the same thing. This guy was cooked from the get-go. He was not going to win. But listen to this.
That time and time in American history, it has shown us to remove emotions from yet the law. It has shown us that black life is not safe in Collin County. It showed very clearly that a black boy was allowed, not one black soul on a jury, an all white jury. Black America should be very upset about what went on today.
This was a legal lynching that happened in the...
You hear that? Hear what she said? A legal lynching. Legal lynching. You know, I don't know what to do with these people. I really don't. I really don't. I don't know how you explain to someone like this how the world actually works. A legal lynching. They're lucky, his family is lucky that he didn't get the death penalty. This was in Texas, for Christ's sake. They did him a favor by only giving him 35 years in jail. They could have fried him. I don't think anybody would have said a word. Texas is known for this. This isn't Illinois. This isn't New York. This is Texas. If you had anything, if you made any mistake, it was picking the wrong place to do this. The guy's a moron for doing this. Texas. You can't kill people in Texas and think you're going to walk away from this. It doesn't work that way. These people are retarded. And I use that word the way it's appropriate, how it's appropriately used. They're retarded. Who says things like this? It's Texas. And I hate to make a big deal out of that, but good Lord, listen to the rest of this.
Slaughterhouse. This is a slaughterhouse. This is not a courthouse. This courthouse is designed when you will come here and you look like us to slaughter you.
No, not when you look like you, when you act like you. There's a big difference. There has nothing to do with what you look like. It's your behavior that's getting you into this situation. This Karmelo, I don't know if you've seen some of his social media posts, but he's trying to be a gangster. He's showing guns. Give me a break. And then they want to portray him as some kid that was just totally innocent. That's ridiculous. Your story that you're trying to weave, it's not working anymore. People are not buying this anymore. This isn't even a gray area, in my opinion. This isn't a Michael Brown thing. This isn't a George Floyd thing. They're going to try and make it that. You mark my words. They're going to try and make this a George Floyd situation. That's what they're going to try and do. It's coming up on summer. We're going to have the summer of Karmelo. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen, because they're appealing this thing. They're appealing it. They're saying that it was an unfair jury because you had no blacks on the jury. So what you're telling me is that you want to enter race into everything. Yeah, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that we want to be treated equally. Now, the black community, you can't say, oh, we want to be treated equally. It has nothing to do with the color of our skin. And then demand that the color of your skin is included in every situation. You can't do that. You can't do that. Now, listen.
How about that? I'm saying that. Because y'all want to play these games. Y'all want to play these crackhead games, so I'm going to play them.
Yeah. See, now this guy here, he is your standard issue ghetto black man. That's what he is. So does he have any credibility when he says things like this, when he talks like this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's just proving the narrative that is correct, that we've made in our head. These people cannot be trusted. Let me ask you this. You're walking down the street in your neighborhood, or in your city you live in, or in the town you live in, and you got two guys that look like him walking down the sidewalk coming towards you. What are you going to do? What is your instinct at that moment? Is it to stand there and continue on and what? And walk past these guys? Or is it to cross the street? Folks, I can tell you right now, hands up, I'll cross the street. I'll cross the street. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Is it my fault for being a racist? And by the way, I looked it up. I asked ChatGPT, is it against the law to be racist? Is it against the law to hate? Well, guess what? It's not. It's not. There's nothing illegal about being racist. There isn't. Does that mean you should be that way? No, it doesn't. I give everybody a fair shot. But when you start acting like this and you start doing things like this, I have a real problem with it. So listen to the rest of this.
How about that?
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion.
Look at this. Look at this lunatic.
Just like Karmelo was doing. I'm glad you just said that.
Look at that. Look at that face. Look at that face. Have you seen that face before? I think I have. I've seen it on documentaries. This is jungle behavior here. These people have, and I know people are going to say it's racist, and that's fine. Again, there's nothing illegal about this. I'm just telling you the way I feel based on what I observe, okay, and what I've experienced. Does that mean that every white person is good and that every black person is bad? Absolutely not. But this kind of behavior here does not help your case. It just doesn't.
That's what Karmelo was doing. Protecting his mother.
You need to be ashamed. You need to be ashamed.
Say his name. Karmelo. What do we want? Justice.
You're going to hear a lot
Able
more
to make sure that nobody.
Okay? You're going to hear a lot more of this, is what you're going to hear. You're going to hear tons of this, and then look at this. Watch this one. Let's see if I've got this queued up correctly. Remember, I'm doing this on the balcony of my hotel. I don't have all my all my assets here, and I'm trying to do it on a laptop. So bear with me, okay? Let's see if we can get this. No, that's not it. Let's remove that one. Let's do this one, because this is the leaders that they're listening to.
Is the evidence of a broken system. Now listen, from everything that I understand, trial, because obviously I got a day job.
This is Jasmine Crockett. Okay, could possibly be, and I'm saying this is saying something too. She could quite possibly be the dumbest person in Congress of all time, and that includes AOC, and that's saying something. Okay, but here's what she's got to say.
But it's my understanding that Karmelo ended up stabbing, puncturing, I don't know what this tool was that they talk about, knife, or some refer to it as a tool. He ended up hitting Austin one time, and it was about where he hit him. One time, 2 inches. This wasn't someone who said, hey, let me stab you 5, 6, 7 times. And so when you're looking at the punishment range, there's a reason in Texas that it goes from 5 to 99 or life, because you are looking at How intentional, like how bad was this? 35 years for a kid who had decided to go under a tent that was not his team's tent as it was raining, and simply didn't want to be put out in the rain by some random kid that he didn't know who was larger than him. Listen, a lot of people don't know what it is to live as a black person in this country, but
a lot of people don't know what it's like to live as a black person in this country. I don't know. Guys, I'm ashamed that she said that out loud. Is it true that I don't know what they go through? Maybe. I don't know. They have more opportunities than most of us. She's in a position of power because she's black. So, do you think she would have actually gotten elected if she was white, saying something this stupid? I don't think so. I don't think so. Jasmine Crockett is a perfect example of what's wrong with the system. She can bitch about it all she wants. The system worked. A murderer went to jail. A murderer was convicted. A murderer was taken off the street. The black community, I guess the black community would be happier if we just let him go and praised him for having killed someone. That's the impression I'm getting from these people. What is wrong with society at this point? For the love of God, you're telling me that you can justify killing a 17-year-old kid for no reason. And she says, oh, because it was raining out and he was looking for a tent to be under. Really? That's our standard now? I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't. And it just keeps getting worse. Let me play you another one here that's a classic. Listen, look at this. Again, I'm having a little trouble here getting things fired up. Where are we at here?
That it was not a case about race, but you cannot deny that just the facts of the case and what we've seen play out since then and what we're happening now is because the defendant is black, the victim.
This guy's jumping around like a monkey. He really is. And they have a problem with us comparing them to that. What is this? And I know this doesn't represent the entire black community, but listen to me. I want to make sure you hear this, and I want to make sure we're clear on this. I was looking up some statistics the other day, and you've probably heard this already, and I've said it many times. FBI statistics, now this is going back from 2024, I think. I could be wrong on that. Maybe 2023. Doesn't make any difference. The point is, the black community represents about 13% of the population in the United States. The black community commits 51% of the violent crime in America. That's an FBI statistic. There's no getting around it. Statistics, they can be manipulated, but at the end of the day, they're not racist. They usually tell you the story. 51% of all violent crime is committed by 13% of the population. Here's the problem with that statistic. It's even worse than that. It's even worse. I got to thinking about this, and it makes perfect sense. Women, the females, don't typically commit violent crime as much. So immediately, you could take that 13% and cut it in half. That's 6.5%. 6.5% of the population is committing 51% of the crime. But here's the thing. You're not taking into consideration that 4%, or well, let's see, 6.5% of the population is committing, is committing 51% of the crime. The problem is, out of that 6.5%, there's a percentage of those who are too young or too old to have committed these crimes. In other words, they're talking about males. Okay, so say you're a 7-year-old black man or black boy in America. you're in that 6.5%, but you're not going to commit violent crime. You're not going to do it. And let's say you're 85 years old. You're probably not going to commit it either. So they say that when everything is totaled out, approximately 51% of all violent crime in the United States is committed by approximately 4% of the population. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Think about those numbers. Let's say for just the sake of argument, I'm gonna come up with a scenario here. Say you're a chicken farmer, okay? You got 100 chickens in a coop, and you feed them and you water them every day. You got four that are causing all the trouble. They're pecking the shit out of this one. They're doing this. They're fighting constantly, trying to hurt, killing some of them. You walk out there every day. You got 2 chickens that are dead, and you know who did it. You got 4 that are doing all the doing all of the violence. 4. Now, as a chicken farmer, what are you going to do with those 4? I can tell you what you're going to do. My daughter has chickens. She had 2 roosters that were nothing but trouble out of 15. She couldn't even go out to the coop without them chasing her, or they were causing all kinds of trouble. What'd she do? She got rid of both of them. And how she got rid of them, I'm not going to go into. But the point is, they were no longer a problem. That's what you do. That's what you do. This is a completely separate species we're talking about. And I know people are going to say I'm a racist. That's fine. That's fine. Say it all you want. Just because I observe this and I have an opinion about this does not make me a racist. It doesn't. And what if I am? So who cares? Who cares? So sue me. As long as I don't act on it, it doesn't matter. But I can point these things out. I can. It's and then you got these people like Jasmine Crockett talking about these things like somehow or other. Let's see where's she at. I think she did another one here that I wanted to play, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go into any more of it. All I know is Karmelo. What was his name? Karmelo Anthony. Karmelo Anthony got exactly what he deserved. I have no problem with the verdict. I feel sorry for the parent. And then on top of everything else, I don't know if you've heard this, but Metcalf's family was booed, hissed. People were saying, this was when they were leaving the courthouse. When they were leaving the courthouse after the verdict, his family was booed. People were yelling at him that they should kill all of them, that they should have killed the other son. These are all black people. All of them. All of them. This is a George Floyd incident, is what this is. The left and the crazy people are going to build this up into something it's not. This was justice being served. There's no other way to look at this. Justice was served, and I think most people that are going to listen to me saying this will agree with me. And if you don't, then you've got an axe to grind. They're getting death threats at their homes. Death threats. They said they're going to, the black community, the black people at the protest outside the courthouse were saying they're going to go and piss on his grave. These people are scumbags. Folks, at the end of the day, and I don't know how long I've been doing this. It's been like 14 minutes, I guess it is. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, and I heard somebody say this the other day, and I had to laugh because I agreed with it 100%. I really did. And it sums everything up when you get right down to it. The guy said, we should have picked our own cotton. And I agree with that. The South screwed this whole thing up. You know, we hear about reparations. We hear about the black community saying that they deserve something for being over here in slavery. Slavery is a bad thing. They act like the United States was the only country on the planet that was involved in the slave trade. If you believe that, you know nothing about history. You know nothing about it. And the Middle East was horrible about this. The Middle East was terrible during the 1800s. Middle East, you're talking about China. I mean, it goes on and on. The entire area, the entire world was involved in the slave trade. These blacks were being sold into slavery by their own people. They want to portray this. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Roots, but they want to portray this narrative that the black man was just walking along in Africa, and suddenly a bunch of white guys come up and threw a net over him. Next thing you know, he's in South Carolina or Mississippi, picking cotton. That's not how it worked. He was rounded up by people in his own. He was rounded up by other black people in different tribes, and they were sold to the slave traders. We didn't. If you do away with the supply, the problem goes away. But they didn't do that because they were making money in it. Yeah, people don't understand that. People don't look past what they've been told. They don't research any of this. Yeah, we should have picked our own cotton. The country would be a better place, in my opinion. I mean, the only time black people were productive in this country is when they were under. Is really when they were being told what to do by the white person. I know that sounds racist. I know it does, but if you look back historically, that's true. The black family, in during Jim Crow times, they stayed married. Men and families were tight. I think 80% of all blacks were in a two parent family. Today it's less than 20%. The black man has babies and he runs off and he doesn't raise them, and then they leave it up to the state to be raised. That's a problem. Karmelo Anthony, I believe. Now, my guess is he had a woman, a black woman, who was somebody he looked up to, and he feels entitled. He's been told from start to finish that the black man is treated bad in the United States, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. Why else would you walk into a tent at a track meet that was not your team's? Who does that? Who does that? Would I, as a white guy, say I'm in Los Angeles, would I walk into a bar that is controlled by the Crips or the Bloods? No. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? That's what he did. You can't do this. There's absolutely no justification for what took place here as far as the act itself. There just isn't. Justice was served in this situation. Now, of course, they're going to appeal it. We'll see what happens. Currently, he was taken into custody immediately. I don't think he'll see his 21st birthday. I really don't. This particular case has gotten far too much press, so that means the Aryan race that's in, the Aryans, the white supremacists, all of them, they're in prison. They have the same kind of setups that you know how it works in prison. You've read about it. You've seen it on the documentaries. They're going to be gunning for this guy. He's got a lot of. I don't think he'll see his 21st birthday. Somebody will shiv this kid. Yeah. So it looks like they're getting ready to start some kind of event here. Maybe too loud for me to continue on, but I've gotten pretty much said what I wanted to say. And on another note, I did see that Elon Musk is now the world's first trillionaire because of the SpaceX IPO. Folks, I got to tell you, and I hate to be a broken record, I really do, but Elon Musk is not who you think he is. This SpaceX thing is a bunch of nonsense. It really is. He's He's like a magician, sleight of hand. That's all it is. He's a con man. There's no other way to look at it. He's really good at it. You have to tip your hat to him because he's pulled it off. He takes money and he redistributes it to other places. And we're not going to Mars. I want you to understand that. We're not going to Mars. We're not going to the moon. This is all nonsense. People keep talking about this like it's going to happen next week. It's not going to. The physics, the laws of the laws of space travel and all, you're not going anywhere. You can't. We do not have the technology to do this. And yet people are investing in this SpaceX and it probably will go up. I don't understand it. I don't understand Tesla. I don't understand SpaceX. I don't understand anything that he's done. Now, I will say this. We did sign up for Starlink. Now, that may work. It seems to be working for me. That I got to tell you, that seems to have worked. But you know what? A blind squirrel finds an acorn every once in a while. Maybe he's right on that. Seems to be. We'll see. It's still early in the game. But this thing with SpaceX, forget it. Yeah, I mean, you may be able to make money off of it. I'm not saying you can't do that. Tesla. I never have understood the Tesla situation. He makes 7% of the cars in the world. 7%. And it's probably less now because everybody that wanted a Tesla has bought one. Nobody's buying these. That Cybertruck's a joke. So that's done. The people that have electric vehicles that wanted them have them now. The market's going to fall off. It's already doing that. Now, you explain to me how the value of Tesla is worth more than all the other car manufacturers in the world. Makes no sense. The math doesn't add up. It just doesn't. And SpaceX, you explain to me why the technology that we're trying to develop right now, we supposedly had it in 1969. I don't understand that. We were capable of doing what he's trying to do now in 1969. And yet he's struggling to get this done. It makes no sense. Why is space travel the one scientific discipline that works in reverse? Why was it better back in 1969 than it is today? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So anyway, that's Elon's. I don't get it. I really don't. If you wanted to make money doing it, that's fine. Invest your money and then dump it later and you'll make some money. That's fine. But as far as going to Mars, forget it. We're not doing that. Not in your lifetime, not in your kid's lifetime, not in your grandkid's lifetime, and not in your great-grandkid's lifetime. It's never going to happen. It can't be done. And there may be a reason for that, and that's another discussion. But this guy's a con man. There's no other way of looking at this. No other way. He's a car salesman. He's good at it. I don't know why everybody's falling for this. He's a terrible public speaker. Has he got charisma? I guess he does. I've never seen it. He's a blowhard. But anyway, I don't want to go off on too much of a rant about him. But this SpaceX thing, complete joke. So anyway, that's all I got today. And I appreciate you listening. You get a chance, you share this, like it, subscribe, all the good things. I'd appreciate it. It helps me. That's the subscribing and the liking. That is basically YouTube currency. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I'd like to continue this. I enjoy doing it. And the only way I can do it is if I get followers. You know how this isn't news to anyone. You just got to do it. So anyway, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time. You guys have a good one. Peace out.